If you want to sell AI automations to customers, in this video, I'm going to show you where to find these clients based on the business you want to work with. And if you're here for the first time, my name is Sirop and I run an AI automation agency based in Berlin, and I share my experience here. Let's jump in. So in a previous video, I showed you the different ponds or waters that you can shop in based on the kind of business that you would like to work with. And these were local businesses, solo founders, smaller businesses, and then finally the enterprise, which is like the big water. If you haven't seen that video, then please click on the link and that will give you some context on where is the opportunity in the AI space. Now, from the comments, someone asked me to write a detailed video on how to get customers for these different businesses alongside a case study that I have sold to one of these businesses. So let's start with local businesses. In my experience, the best way to get in contact with them is to scrape all these businesses through some sort of Google Maps scraper. And if you're unfamiliar with this tool, there's this tool called Appify where you can go and just use one of the pre-made scrapers. For example, this is exactly the one that I used. You can try it for free. And all what you need to say is, I want, let's say, find out all the dentists within, let's say, Berlin. And then it would give you basically all their names, addresses, phone numbers, if possible, the websites, etc. So you can take this list and you start reaching out to people if the emails is already there. And this is exactly what I did when I was targeting wedding venues and event-based businesses to sell them automations. This would be, for me, the free option if you want to scrape leads and then use more of your time to do the outreach. If you want the more scalable option and the faster option, I would recommend you go through meta ads. So generate some ads, hyper-specific for the specific niche that you want. Let's say you want to target, I don't know, plumbers or construction companies, etc. You can use the ad to scale. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend starting with paid ads immediately. Sell at least one or two of these offers by reaching out to people to validate that they actually need what you are trying to sell, and then just scale with ads. This is, for me, the most scalable way to generate business, selling to local businesses. So this is what I've sold. I've sold a $500 one-off build. I installed the system, which is Speed to Lead, basically an automation that connects to the business owner's email. And the moment they got inquiries, it was a wedding venue, telling them that they want to see the wedding venue, etc. It would generate an automated answer alongside all the PDF, all the informations, the availability of the venue, etc. Send it to the owner Telegram just for a quick approval. The owner would just click one button and then the email gets sent. We keep the human in the loop, but then it automated the whole process with the PDFs, etc., and all the information. So that was really cool. And the customer was super happy. And I literally found him through scraping all the wedding venues in Berlin. And I sent out cold emails targeting these wedding venues, and I landed this one customer. Now, the second pool, which can afford a little bit more, these are coaches, solo founders, business owners making anywhere between 100K plus till 1 million, I think, because above that, you probably would need to hire more people. Sometimes also the solo founders are working with other freelancers. So it's not just the solo founder, but there is technically just one or two people working in the companies. So what I've noticed works the best for solo founders are communities. For example, I found my first 2 or 3 solo founders that I've sold to through this community. It's called the AI Automation Agency Hub. It's from Liam Otley. Maybe you are familiar with him in the space. There's about 300,000 people, including a lot of business owners. So I would start to fish here first, and I have got about 3 customers from here. Then I would try my luck in different communities. You don't have to go to the paid ones. The free ones already contain a lot of good people who have money, but they don't know the tech. And if you're joining communities, you can also join my free community. It doesn't have so many members, but it also have high quality people who are either business owners or also building an automation business. Now, if I want to target coaches or these solo creators, then for me, the best place to target them is through Instagram. So create an Instagram business account, engage with their post, build a personal connection, and then after 2 or 3 DMs, I would pitch them my service. And with the Instagram game, unfortunately, I would focus on making it much more personalized rather than blasting thousands and thousands of cold emails. Now, what can you expect if you want to sell these solutions? I have sold an one-off build and it was an automation that would take a sales script from Fathom and then automatically generate a proposal and send it to a customer. The person who bought this was a founder of an agency. It was a data engineering agency, and he was spending a lot of time writing these proposals. So it was a super useful thing for him. And there's other things that I've sold, and I think the highest ticket I've sold in this category was around 2K build. So expect anywhere between 1,000 to 5,000 building range. Of course, these guys also want you to maintain whatever you build, so you can also offer a small maintenance retainer as well. Now, the third water that you can shop in, which is the lake, and these are companies that have up to 50 employees. And in my experience, whenever I managed to get one of these fishes or these opportunities, they came either from a blog that I've written, they came either from a video that I uploaded, or they came through Upwork. And some of them came through LinkedIn, but they weren't total strangers. They were people who were in my LinkedIn for a while, like let's say previous companies, previous CEOs, etc., that I have worked with maybe 5 years ago and then end up hiring me again. Now, the mistake that I see a lot is that when people try to target these companies, they go to Apollo or they go to Instantly or whatever, they download a list of emails and they start blasting like thousands and thousands of emails. This has never worked for me because I've never reached this volume. There's a lot of stuff that you need to tweak to be able to send thousands of emails without burning your domain, etc. But if you want to target these guys with cold outreach, you need to be super charismatic in your email. You need to really stand out because these guys are getting bombarded with cold emails, especially if you find someone's email on Apollo or Instantly or any email scraping tool. This email is usually getting heavily bombarded with so many cold outreach emails that your email is not going to stand out unless you have something magical in it. So if you ever decide to go through the cold email route, even cold LinkedIn route, I would really think of volume game, like sending thousands and thousands, and then hope for like 1% reply rate. So if you decide to let them come to you, which is what I have done, you need to write high quality content, focus on the problem. What is it that you're trying to solve? Think also a little bit higher. So not just a tool, this is how to set up end-to-end with an email. This is not how you attract the business owner of this company. In my experience, I was talking about GDPR and compliance laws and what do you need to add for the AI to work in Europe. This is how I ended up attracting this customer. The really nice thing about this customer is that they stay really long. So you land one of them, you can work for like 6, 7 months or even 12 months together, which is a very nice recurring income. So the case study that I've sold for this customer was a 5K retainer over a period of 8 months. And it was a company in Germany, a SaaS company. We reinvented their customer service to be AI native. So we didn't just build one-off automation, but we literally looked into all the opportunities that we have and then built these automations one by one. Here also you can sell trainings, you can sell workshops, you can sell discovery, etc. So there's a lot of opportunities once you land the trust of one of them. And for me, to be honest, these are the best customers to work with, especially if you're starting alone, because they are reachable. They don't have such a complicated tech that you are unable to work with them alone. And you usually get embedded into their team. So you're working very closely with their team and it's super fun because they are still quite flexible. There's no politics. There's no need to buy opt-in from multiple people. Usually you just speak to the founder or maybe someone on the C-level and then they sign on the deal and that's it. In much bigger enterprise companies, you need to bring in multiple people and deal with a lot of politics games, etc. And you probably are unable to deliver on your own if you're just one-man team. And this brings me to the last category, which is these bigger whales. You can fish for really, really big whales, but also there's a size of companies that are between 50 and 100. They are bigger, but also they have bigger budgets. And I think you can manage to deliver things on your own or maybe with the help of one more consultant that maybe you hire as a freelancer as well. So the best channel to attract these guys are, in my opinion, conferences and meetups. So you meet them in person, you introduce yourself, you share with them some value. In my example, I presented something in a conference and they came to me because the content was quite good. The second way to land their attention is if you partner up with someone who already is working with them. So they do an introduction to you, etc. If you're watching these videos, you're probably working in a company or you know friends who are working in a company that can introduce you. And in my experience, it was some of the friends who were working inside big companies, but they had like some sort of management role. They introduced me as an external consultant to help them with their stuff. So this is how it usually works and it works really, really well. And of course, the last option is when you build authority. This takes a little bit more time. So creating content, SEO. So let them also come to you rather than you show up into their door and push your stuff into them. So I had very bad experience with cold outreach. Whenever I tried to target these companies, what I had good experience with is that I created content and they came to me, or I optimized my website for SEO and then they found out about me when they were looking for AI workshops, etc. in the specific city. Now, the last customer that I have sold something to was about $45,000 one-off deal. It included AI strategy and employee training for 4 different departments. So write down the AI strategy, what this should they do, and what are the AI opportunities that is included inside their company, and also build a roadmap of how can they implement this internally as well. We did cloud code training and hackathons. So the teams also build some automations, and only with these 4, we reached a ticket size of 45, which was really nice. So in my experience, what has worked for me is that if you want to reach out to smaller clients, so fishes in the shallow waters, you can go to them. You can use cold email, you can do ads, you can do communities, etc. However, the game does change for the bigger water, because in my experience, these customers require a lot of trust. So the ways to get into the door is either through partnership, conferences, they meet you live, or through high quality content. So the game is a little bit slower, it's more personalized. However, if you land one of these, it's going to be either a high ticket or you work with them for quite a long time, which is really nice. So this is a visualization of how you can target and find each of these customers. And I hope this answers some of the comments that were added in the YouTube video where I explained the different type of customers that you can target. So that means if you're starting from shallow water, you can scrape cold email ads. If you want to target the rivers, founders, coaches, solo builders, DMs, communities work really well here. If you want to target companies in general, create content, SEO, let them come to me. And finally, to land these bigger fishes, usually you need some sort of a human aspect, introduction, etc. And if you'd like to learn how to service these big whales and understand how to run an AI audit, ROI planning, AI trainings and hackathons, and sell these 45K tickets, then make sure to join my paid community where you will get one-on-one mentorship from me, helping you land these bigger fishes. I believe nobody online is talking about this. Everybody's focused on selling to local businesses. However, in my experience, this was not where the opportunity is. So make sure to check it out. And if you think it's a good fit, I'm happy to have you there as well. So now let me know about you. Which of these customers sounds more appealing to you, and which one do you believe you can land in the next 90 days? Make sure to write in the comment. I read each one of them, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.